Hi guys, I wanted to hop on here for a few minutes I have something I want to get off my chest. And I'm going to try to be as nice and as not heated as possible, but I do have some very strong opinions about what I'm getting ready to talk about. It's all over the news, it's all over the social media, it's everywhere, about a celebrity who went on a podcast to talk about many things, one of which is that she is turning 40 this year and she wants to start a family with her significant other. The podcast, I'm not going to mention, the celebrity, I'm not going to mention by name. You guys can figure it out if you want, but this is what I have to say. And now, I listened to the podcast and I wrote down verbatim what was said. So let's start from the top. Podcaster asked, back up, this celebrity is turning 40 this year, okay? And the podcaster asked, have you thought about how many kids you want? The celebrity says, we want twins first, then I don't know. She says a few things after that. Then the podcaster asks, well, you say you want twins, it's kind of hard to plan that. Yeah. And the celebrity says, well, we have been doing IVF, so I could pick twins if I like. Okay. And apparently another famous celebrity referred this celebrity to her fertility specialist, okay? The podcaster goes on to ask, well, what made you want to go that route is what she asked, but she's referring to going through IVF. And the celebrity says, well, I think it's just something that most women should do just to have, and then you can pick if you want boys or girls. Just because I really want to have twins that are a boy and a girl. So the only way to 100% get that is by making it happen that way. Okay, here are my thoughts. I am in no way going after anyone for how they want to choose to have a family, when they want to choose to have a family, in no way, shape, or form. But I have a problem with what was said in this podcast for multiple reasons. And now it's all over social media and news outlets. And so many women and people are going to read this interview. And so as someone who started a family for the first time after age 40, who is a maternal fetal medicine specialist, I think I'm pretty qualified to speak on this. So let's talk about the first thing. People want twins. I get it. They're stinking cute. I get it. And there's just something about having multiples. They make wonderful Instagram pictures. They're cute. They're great. Everybody wants twins. I will say that I never went into my IVF journey wanting twins for many reasons, and we'll talk about that. But twins are a high-risk pregnancy, and here's why. And then this information is coming straight from the ACOG Practice Bulletin on Multifetal Gestation. First, multifetal gestations are associated with an increased risk of fetal and infant morbidity and mortality. Morbidity means disease and illness. Mortality means death. There is an approximate 5-fold increased risk of stillbirth and a 7-fold increased risk of neonatal death, primarily due to the complications of prematurity when having a multifetal gestation, and even twins. Women with multifetal gestations are 6 times more likely to give birth preterm and 13 times more likely to give birth before 32 weeks of gestation than women in singletons. I gave birth at 31 weeks. An increase in short-term and long-term neonatal and infant morbidity is also is associated with multifetal gestations. Twins born preterm at less than 32 weeks of gestation are at twice the risk of high-grade intraventricular hemorrhage, which is a brain bleed, and periventricular leukomalacia, which is another disorder of the brain, when compared with singletons of the same gestational age. And this is directly related to the increased risk of cerebral palsy in twins as well. Again, this in part explains the increased prevalence of cerebral palsy in multifetal gestations. Next, medical complications are more common in women with multifetal gestations than with singletons. Let's talk about that. There's an increased risk of hyperemesis gravidarum and nausea and vomiting in pregnancy. Increased risk of gestational diabetes, hypertension, anemia, hemorrhage. I hemorrhaged. Cesarean delivery. I had a cesarean delivery. And postpartum depression. I had postpartum depression. Okay? There's an increased risk of hypertensive conditions associated with pregnancy. Preeclampsia occurs more frequently in women with twin pregnancies than in women with singletons, with a relative risk of 2.6, and it tends to occur earlier in pregnancy, which is also going to contribute why twins are delivered earlier, prematurely. This results in a higher likelihood of complications, such as preterm delivery at less than 35 weeks, which occurs in 34.5% of twins versus 6.3% of singletons, and abruption, That's where the placenta tears away from the uterine wall. This occurs in 4.7% of twins versus 0.7% of singletons. Older women who are pregnant with twins are also more likely to have obstetric complications irrespective of fetal number, including gestational hypertension, gestational diabetes, and abruption placenta. So you add advanced maternal age, especially over age 40, and twins, you have a lot more complications, and I'm a walking testament to that. She said, well, we have been doing IVF so I can pick twins if I like. This is what I have to say. The standard of doing a single embryo transfer in the U.S. is in place for multiple reasons. And I know people don't get it, okay? And I didn't have a single embryo transfer. There was a reason why. But the main reason why one of the main reasons why single embryo transfer is what is adopted now and what is primarily recommended is because of everything I just said. There was a point in time where we were having gazillion twins. Now that rate is going down. Largely it went up because of assisted reproductive technology and IVF, but now it's going down some because of single embryo transfer. There's multiple reasons, but as a high-risk maternal fetal medicine specialist, where it applies to me is the complications of pregnancy for both mom and babies, okay? The idea of being able to pick twins if I like is not only incorrect, it's dangerous and it's irresponsible to put out there as a choice that anyone can have, because it's not a choice anyone can have. IVF is not available to everyone, and twins are a high-risk pregnancy, okay? It's not like you go, oh, I'm going to go through the catalog and I'm going to pick twins, okay? Why did I have twins? Okay, because I was almost 43. I was 42 to 43. I had already suffered a miscarriage. I had already suffered one embryo transfer with my own, an egg that came from me of embryo. Then I went to donor eggs after 5 cycles of IVF. Transferred 2 embryos in because of my age and the miscarriage and the failed transfer. So there are some instances in which they will put in more than 1 embryo, but one of the major factors is because of advanced maternal age, okay? And that embryo transfer didn't take. That was the single most difficult loss I had, was because I had put so much hope into those donor eggs that when I didn't have a pregnancy take after transfer of 2, I was devastated. We almost quit, but we decided to transfer 2 more, and that's when I got pregnant with the twins. And I knew what was going to happen to me when I got pregnant with twins. It's not something that I planned, and I was 100% right. I knew it was going to happen to me. And we'll talk about that in a minute. I'll tell you my story if you don't know. So we don't go through life just picking and choosing when it comes to, when it comes to IVF. That's not what it's there for. In my opinion, it's not. Because I come from a different viewpoint on this. Okay? And again, I may be very passionate about this, but I also went through a lot. So I think that I have something to say on this. I told you why I did 2 embryos. Okay, and we're going to get into the rest. When asked what made her go to the IVF route, she said, I think it's just something that most women should do. Just to have, and then you could pick if you want boys or girls. Most women should do IVF? Really? Most women should do IVF. Just because IVF is accessible to you does not mean it's accessible to everyone. As a matter of fact, it's not accessible to most. Okay? It's not. It's not cheap. It's expensive. It is emotionally, physically, and mentally draining, and it takes a toll. Okay? I went through 5 cycles of IVF, and I went through donor eggs. I have readily admitted this. I am very lucky that I had the funds to do that, because most women don't. Did I spend a lot of money? Yeah, I did. But that was a choice my husband and I made. And I came from nothing. I came from $0, negative dollars. Everything that I had, I made on my own. And that was the way that my husband and I made a choice to spend our money on that. We don't live lavishly, okay? So I acknowledge that I had money to do that. And I know that most women don't have that, or people don't have that kind of money. I understand that, okay? So I want to say that right here. I understand that. There are thousands of women who desperately want to do IVF but can't afford it. And I'm sure there's many of you on here right now that would agree with me. Most women can't even just pick one baby. They want to just pick one. They don't even care if it's a boy or a girl. They just want a baby. So for someone to say that I just want to pick a boy and a girl and it's, can you go pick? Yeah, you can do sex selection with IVF. That's also a privilege and a luxury. But I had a problem with the way this was talked about in this interview. And it's all over, and when I read it on the social media and all the different news outlets, I was like, I need to listen to the podcast to make sure it was really said. Because I was like, well, maybe they misquoted or whatever, and no, that's what was really said. Okay, it was really said. Having a kid is not like going shopping. It's not like picking a kid through a catalog. Okay, and I don't want anyone to feel, for those of you listening that are not in the position to be able to do IVF, I hear you and I understand. But also, IVF is not a guarantee. IVF didn't work for me. I did 5 cycles, it didn't work for me. I had to use donor eggs. So saying that, most women should do that, no, most women should not do that. The ones that need it should be able to have access to it. And most women who need it don't have access to it, guys. They don't. It's still a privilege in this country. For most women, it's a privilege that have the funds to do it. Okay? IVF didn't work for me. Yes, I got my twins, but it didn't work for me. She also said, just because I really want to have twins that are a boy and a girl, so the only way to 100% get that is by making it happen that way. Basically, she was saying that she really wants boy-girl twins, so going through IVF to sex select boy and girl is what she wants. Now, I did not sex select. I didn't know what the sex of my embryos were. I didn't ask. But let me tell you my story of having boy-girl twins. The moment I found out I was having twins, I didn't really tell my husband. I knew it was in the road for me. I knew I was going to deliver early. I was 42. I was a physician. I knew the risk of having twins. I knew the risk of having twins as an advanced maternal age woman. At 21 weeks and change, I was hospitalized because I had a less than 1 centimeter cervix. I almost lost them multiple times. I was on hospital bed rest for 2 months. I was on magnesium sulfate to quiet my uterus for 2 weeks. I went into pulmonary edema on the magnesium sulfate, but that was the only way we could keep them in. I was very sick. I'm not gonna get sick. Okay. Okay. I spent 2 months thinking every day I was gonna lose them. I didn't bond with my twins because I was convinced that I was gonna lose them. There was 2 months of that. So, I made it to 30 weeks. I went home for a week, and then I abrupted. I had a placental abruption. I delivered at 31 weeks. They were in the NICU for 6 weeks, and I brought them home. I'm very grateful for that because I know, and it could have went a very different way. At any point in time, it could have went a very different way. But that's the reality. It's not the reality for everyone. Guys, I'm not saying this is going to happen for everyone. It's not going to happen for everyone, but it does happen. This is all over the news right now, and it struck a nerve with me, big time. By the way it's being discussed, by the way IVF is being discussed, by the way having twins is being discussed, okay? People have to understand the complications, the risks of this, what IVF is really used for, and understand what they're getting into. I almost didn't have any kids, and there are many women who don't. I deliver them all the time, guys. I do. They don't get to take their twins home. Okay? It happens. So I don't want it to be glorified. I don't want it to be talked about as just something you can order up and put in an order from on DoorDash. Give me some twins, boy, girl, preferably. You know, that's not how it works. And I don't appreciate it being discussed that way at all. As a physician, as a person, as someone who went through infertility, and I'm still going through infertility in my mind. It doesn't go away once you have babies. And it doesn't go away because I'm not going to have any more babies. Infertility will always be a part of me. Always. And I know there's many of you who understand that. I hope that no matter what, that this person gets what they want. The family that they want. And I hope I don't wish that she doesn't. I hope she gets what she wants. Everybody deserves that. To experience that. But have some responsibility, have some accountability when you are a public figure and you're saying things that way, because it's going to strike a nerve. It's going to either A, strike a nerve with many women just like it did me, or people just like it did me, or it's going to give false hope and false information out there to people that don't know any better. So I do think there is a certain level of accountability and responsibility when you're speaking on this topic, okay? So I am holding this person to that standard. It's on every news outlet, guys. They're putting that out there everywhere. So that's my 2 cents. I don't even know how long I've been on here. The other thing I want to say is that the field of reproductive medicine, and their recommendations and that they have and the standards that they have, that should be respected. These guys are the professionals. These are the ones that have done all the work, and they make these recommendations for a reason, and we should all respect that. Now, I am not in any way saying that putting in 2 embryos is never going to be done. Of course it's going to be done. But in the right person, in the right candidate, still with understanding that ending up with twins may or may not turn out the way you want it. Okay? It almost didn't turn out for me the way I wanted. So, anyway, that's all I have to say. I also think that not only should reproductive endocrinologists be respected for their field and what their recommendations are, but what I do. I'm a high-risk obstetrician. I take care of twin pregnancies, and I see what happens. I see many good outcomes, I do, but I also see some not so good outcomes, guys. So that should be respected as well. I just wanted to get on here and say what I needed to say. Yes, I got heated, and I'm probably going to watch this back and be like, oh God, I shouldn't have said that. But you know what? That's how I feel. For anybody that's listening, that's struggling, I understand. And I hope you get on the other side of this. I wish there was more that we could do. I wish that IVF could be accessible for everyone, but you know, again, IVF doesn't work for everyone either. There's not a magic answer for everyone, and I wish that there was. So thanks for listening, and I'm not going to answer any questions, but that's all I have to say. Enjoy your day, and if you think anybody can benefit from listening to this, share it. If you have any comments, just leave it under the comments. Bye, guys.